And just like that, we're back, baby. Damn, I miss doing this. Actually, I'm actually pretty hyped about this one. I'm pretty sure the main reason why I didn't like doing the readings before is because Herding Instincts, it's a really annoying fucking story, you know? Like, this one, like, I've already invested so much time in this story with our boy Max. Like, I love this guy, alright? He's my boy. If I ever told you which story I love about I think there's like 70 stories I've read, even though most of them look like, oh, they're just the next chapter, whatever. I love Max here, mainly because I have a friend called Max, and I just like killing his name out, and I'm just like, I feel like I'm just scolding him, so it gives me that type of like familiarity, right? That's the word. Anyways, let's hop right into it. Hopefully, I'm not sure if the audio was compressed from the other chapter. Sorry if it was. Not my problem, your problem. Even though every time I restart and start reading, it always changes, whatever it is. Like right now, my mic arm is dead, so I'm technically yelling at the microphone at where my monitor should be, where my monitors are, is like right there, right in front of me, on the ground. Not used to this anymore. Normally I'm just yelling right at it, like literally mouth to mouth. But right now it's just my monitor distance away. Anyways, just random tangent. Let's just hop right into it. Chapter 14. There is no spoon. Okay, that's before we hop into it, as it were. Last thing I remember, because I read back into the story, is Max and Twilight were hugging each other. So. And they have, they're both crying and just, trying to move on from the past, as it were. Now let's hop right into it. There is no spoon. Chapter 14. A few days later. At first I wasn't sure what it was that woke me. I hadn't been having a nightmare, and everything seemed quiet enough. After a few seconds of laying there, though, I noticed a faint light was on somewhere in the room. God damn it, was it really morning already? I felt like I had literally just closed my eyes just minutes earlier. Why must sleep be so cruel to me? Before I could start my grumbling and whining. Damn it, my notifications made me... Where was I? Before I could start my grumbling and winging about the sun too much, I realized the source of the light wasn't coming from the window, but instead from the far wall of the room. As I mused about this strange fact, the sound of pages being turned to reach my ears. Beside me, Twilight stirred as well. "What's that?" she mumbled. "It's your turn to deal with the strangeness," I mumbled as I snuggled further beneath his blankets. "It's always my turn," she grumbled back before sitting up. She looked around for a moment before tisking softly. "Spike, you really need to go to sleep." "Ah," came a dejected whine from the far side of the room. "2 more minutes, Twilight." There was a shuffle of blankets, followed by the soft patter of little feetsies on the wooden floor before the voice continued from the foot of our bed. "I'm just getting to the really good part. The maniac is about to..." "The maniac?" Twilight asked. "Make the noise stop," I huffed. Grabbing the sheets, I started to roll over so the light wasn't shining on my closed eyes anymore. But before I could pull the blankets with me, something dumped down onto the mattress. A very excited baby dragon bounced up and down on the mattress, waving a comic book about. "The Power Pony's most evil nemesis," Spike gushed, thrusting the comic book out so Twilight could see the pictures. She was the power-mad owner of a hair care product company. A tragic accident at her shampoo factory in Metropolis not only gave her main strange new powers, but also caused her to go completely insane. She and her hench ponies are planning to break into the Metropolis Museum and steal the Electro Orb so she can use it to power up her doomsday device. Of course, the maniac wouldn't have known if Humdrum hadn't slipped up and told her all about it. "The noise is still going," I growled. "Make it stop." Twilight was silent. Twilight was silent a moment. Yeah, okay. Okay. Where was I? "The noise is still going," I groaned. "Make it stop." Twilight was silent a moment before asking Humdrum. "No," I whined weakly. "Don't encourage him. Silence him. Silence the non-sleeper." "Nah, the guy in the blue boots and pointless red cape," Spike answered, pointing at the comic. The Power Pony's bumbling and totally useless sidekick bouncing about the bed. He jumped onto the footboard before shouting, "The Power Ponies have to stop the maniac, or Metropolis is doomed." Okay, that's kind of annoying. I don't like that I did that. I'm sorry if I'm pausing a lot. This is my first actual reading back, I guess. Twilight laughed softly. "Believe me, Spike, if any pony understands what it's like to get caught up in a really good book, it's me. I barely got any sleep for 3 days after Max gave me those copies of books from his world for heartwarming. You'll get nothing more unless you cease the noise," I growled. But Twilight continued, even as she nudged me under the covers. If we're going to make any progress fixing up Luna and Celestia's old castle tomorrow, we'll have to do our part. We don't want to be too tired to lend a hoof or a claw. Get out of here with this spoof. Get out of here with this. Spike has lived here long enough. He knows what you mean. Okay, Spike huffed. I'm going to bed. He jumped off our bed and slowly made his way back to his basket. Good night. With that, the light clicked off, and blessed darkness consumed the room once more. Hello, darkness, my old friend, I hummed. Hush you, Twilight said as she settled back. There was some shuffling as she got comfortable again. I felt her rump press against my back. Her tail flicked out and draped over my hip. Then there was sweet silence for about 10 seconds. A soft padding noise started up from the other side of the room. Twilight sighed softly because the sound of magic being used came from beside me, followed by an amused, fine, 2 more minutes. Yes, cheered Spike, and the light clicked on again. As the sound of turning pages filled the room once more, it growled into my pillow, you fucking enabler. Forgot. Yeah, that's also another reason why I like Spike. Not Spike, Max. He's just, let's go. He's just like, let's go for it, baby. Alpha, I felt something nudge my shoulder. Alpha, up? I'm willing to wake up just yet. I grunted and buried my face deeper into my pillow. It was a bit chilly this morning, and it was incredibly warm and comfortable beneath the blankets. It was the kind of comfortable that allowed you to hold a pee in for hours just so you can continue to enjoy the comforts. The poking returned. No, fuck off, I ground. Alpha up now. My brow furrowed. There was something I was forgetting, something important about the individual currently shaking my shoulder. If I was more awake, I could probably figure it out, but at the moment I was fighting to return to the sweet embrace of blessed sleep. Alpha, up! That was the only warning before the covers were suddenly ripped off of me, exposing my body to the chilly morning air. A pair of hands lashed onto my limbs and heaved. What the fuck? I yelped as I was lifted bodily into the air and flung over Piracy's shoulder. My face was pressed into her hair, flooding my nose with her natural scent. The sweet smell of petrichor mixed with the spice of citrus. Sputtering, I choked on several strands of her curly hair before managing to free my face from the trap. Alpha, up, now, Piracy chirped proudly, turning. She carried me effortlessly down from the loft and across the room. In her enthusiasm, though, she bashed my head on the doorframe as we exited with a resounding crack. Stars exploded in front of my eyes as I swore, motherfucker. The ringing in my head didn't subside until we reached the ground floor. Entering the kitchen, I was able to smell the sweet scent of pancakes and hash browns before Piracy dumped my ass on the floor. As I lay there groaning, an upside-down lavender face appeared above me. Ah, there you are, I retreated, and I heard, good girl, Piracy, followed by the crunch of something being eaten. Did you bribe her to get me, I asked? Yes, Twilight's face returned. I wouldn't say bribe, I just told her that if she retrieved you, she'd get a piece of apple, and she did, didn't you? Piracy's face appeared above me as well, her jaw moving as she chewed happily. Twilight patted her head. Good girl, Pyre. You can't treat her like a pet, I said indignantly. Twilight cocked an eyebrow like, you don't? I don't tell her to do a trick and then give her a treat. Yes, I said, how could you treat her like that? Easy, Twilight said with a shrug. Like this, her horn lit up and she levitated an apple slice into the air next to her, looking at Piracy, who was eyeing the apple slice ravenously. She nodded down at me. Piracy sat on his face. With almost no hesitation, she moved up to straddle my head. Nope, rolling to the side, I quickly sat up. No, just fucking no, I glared at Twilight, who was laughing as she handed the apple slice to a confused Piracy. Stop doing that, you know it bugs me. I would, but your reaction is always worth it, she said as she moved back to the stove. Giving her one last look, I got to my feet before brushing myself off. I took a seat at the kitchen table, which was already occupied by 3 other individuals, 2 of whom still looked half asleep as I felt. I don't get it, Ebony said as she filled her mug with coffee. What's the big deal with having Piracy sit on you? I've seen you sit on ponies before. She passed a coffee pot to Avera, who would have started pouring it a few inches to the right of her mug, and had Ebony not corrected her with a nudge of magic. Wait, Max has sat on ponies before? I don't remember that. What? Am I missing something there? The difference is that I have clothes on when I do it, I grumbled. I still can't get Piracy to wear any underwear. All she wants to wear are my shirts. Speaking of which, I swear I'm missing some. Are you fuckers taking my clothing? Again, I failed to see the problem, Ebony said, cocking her head to the side. Sighing as they ignored the question, I reached over and pulled up the hem of Piracy's shirt, revealing the topic of discussion in all its glory. She blinked in surprise and held up her arms. But other than that, she just stood there, chewing on her treat. After a few seconds, I let go of the shirt and then let it fall back into place. So, her bits make you uncomfortable? Evera asked. That makes no sense. We ponies don't wear clothing. I bet you've seen tons of marehoods since you arrived. They don't make you uncomfortable. There's a difference, I said as Twilight's magic placed a glass of orange juice down in front of me. One I'm just not getting accustomed to. The other one I spent years of my puberty searching on the internet when my parents weren't home. Of course one is going to affect me more. Internet, Ebony inquired. I waved her off. I'll explain later. It's a technology thing. Imagine a giant library you could access from anywhere, anytime. She gave me an aghast look at this. And you use something amazing like that to look up pictures of genitalia? Hey, what can I say? I shrugged. Puberty, hormones, too much alone time. It was perfectly normal. Leave me alone. Leaning back in the chair, I took a sip of my juice. You can't tell me why you didn't do anything similar when you were growing up. Most certainly not, Ebony insisted. I grew up next to a brothel, Everett said. I learned quickly and had plenty to gawk at. Damn. Alright. As interesting as this conversation is, Twilight said as she placed down a plate stacked with pancakes, I don't think it's breakfast appropriate. Hash browns followed next, along with a bowl of blueberries and strawberries. I let her outside only for it to turn into a grunt when Twilight sat down in my lap. She wiggled about for a moment before sitting back against my stomach. Her horn lit up as she snagged a couple of strawberries from the bowl. I rolled my eyes before snaking my arm around her stomach and hugging her close. Damn. I didn't expect that. I thought we were still talking about genitalia, because, you know, Piracy is still, like, pet, in that pet, not really pet mentality, but, like, in that dumb Neanderthal mentality. Anyways, back to the story. You two are so cute together, I've ever snickered. Oh, go stuff yourself, I said as I swirled my orange juice around in the glass. You're just so jealous you don't have a princess to snuggle. I don't know, Vera grimaced playfully. That kind of relationship looks like more trouble than it's worth. For which party exactly, I asked. She just smirked, yes. Twilight twitched in my lap. Hey, she glared back and forth at both of us. I'm not the troubled party member here. Name one time that I've caused trouble for him. Twilight. I hope you know most of... Actually, yeah, they didn't know. Actually, yeah, the fight pit is because they didn't know he was Twilight's pet. And they just thought he was just running around again, so they were probably going to resell him. I don't know, there's a lot. Actually, yeah, Celestia, actually, no, you were Princess Celestia's, like, product. She owned you for, like, that purchase. I just realized that. Wait, so you thought you could rob the top princesses? I don't know what to say here. I feel like I just realized this. They're so stupid. They're stupid. Those freaking people who sold Max off in the first place. That's stupid. Like, you sold him off to Celestia. What do you expect to happen if you get him back and resell him again? What the... That's already like a bad chase. That's funny. Anyways, back to the story. Well, you did push him out of the window the first day of Estrus, Avera said. She shoved a forkful of pancakes into her mouth before continuing. That sounds like it could be an issue. I mean, normal ponies don't just go shoving others out of windows. I didn't shove him, Twilight squawked. He jumped of his own volition. You blessed him with elements of harmony, Ebony offered. That led to a whole lot of issues. That was Celestia's idea, Twilight countered, twisting about. She gave me a look. If you recall, I was against it. With her harumph, she crossed her forelegs and settled back against me again. Besides, it's also probably the only reason we figured out that Equestrian humans were intelligent. Well, she paused and glanced at Piracy, who was currently chewing on the spoon, just the spoon, no food, just metal, somewhat intelligent. She blasted me with the elements of harmony a second time, I said as I took a sip of orange juice, pausing, and then added, although that blast was actually aimed at Discord and I got caught in the middle. See, I am not the problem party here, Twilight proclaimed triumphantly. Shush, I said, pushing my finger against her nose. Her muzzle scrunched up and she went cross-eyed for a moment. She opened her mouth to offer some form of retaliation, but at that moment a loud belch echoed around the room. Spike, who I hadn't seen until this moment due to him being in the corner quietly reading his comic book, let out a gout of green fire from his mouth. The flames wafted through the air before descending into a scroll which dropped down onto an empty space on the table. Twilight blinked. A letter from Princess Celestia? I wonder what she could want. Lighting up her horn, she plucked up the scroll and unrolled it before reading the contents aloud. To Princess Twilight Sparkle. This letter is to request the presence of the following individuals in Canterlot Castle for medical review. 1. Miss Primrose Willerb. 2. 1. Mr. Max the Anomaly. He has a title, dude. He has a fucking title. Max the Anomaly, dude. That just sounds dope. We would like to perform a checkup and make sure their injuries are healing properly and require no further treatments, as well as check for any unforeseen complications that may be developing due to the critical, unique circumstances of their injuries. We request their presence as soon as possible. As such, a chariot has been dispatched from Canterlot at sunrise to transport the above individuals to the castle. We apologize for any inconvenience. Sincerely, Spinal Top, Royal Healer, Solar Branch. So 3 doctors, nurses asked for this? Excuse me. They're requesting our presence for a checkup, I asked, reading over her shoulder. Primus blinked and raised a hoof to the bandages around her chest. Makes sense. I guess it stopped seeping as much. I suppose it would be a good idea to get it checked out, just to make sure. But today, Twilight asked, wait, didn't they? Trailing off, she reread the letter before glancing frantically up at the clock. If the chariot left at Canterlot at sunrise, they'll be here in less than an hour. Oh no. It was my turn to blink. I don't see what the problem is. The problem, Tola stressed, is the girls and I were planning on working on refurbishing Princess Jaluna's old castle. I just can't cancel on them, yet this is something you two really need to go to. She looked over at the others at the table desperately. Don't look at me, Everett said, holding her hooves. I have work today. Packages aren't going to deliver themselves. I wish it could, man. I need to pick up a large order from Wallflower's floral shop. Floral shop. Ebony said with a shake of her head. There are some time-sensitive plans, so I need to be there to collect them. Okay, Ebony. Is that Ebony? Yeah, Primrose is the one. Okay, yeah. A few strands of Twilight's mane were starting to stick out, and I could feel her twitching in my lap. Reaching down, I wrapped my other arm around her and rested my chin on top of her head. Hey, it's fine. You do what you need to do with the others, but no buts, I said. Primrose and I can handle this by ourselves. It's really just us walking from the library to the chariot, and from the chariot to the castle interior. We'll be fine. But your butt, I said, reaching down and giving her a flank squeeze right over her cutie. She squeaked, her wings exploded outwards with a twin pumps. Her body stiffened, and for a moment I thought I might have gone too far. Then a shiver ran down her spine, and then she turned to give me a half-lit glare. Don't start something you won't finish, she murmured in a husky voice. Oh, I'll finish it, I whispered back. I'll just have to wait until after I get back from Canterlot. It's a promise, she breathed before leaning up and kissing me. I returned the favor, savoring the taste of strawberries on her soft lips. After a moment, it deepened as we both lost ourselves to the other's presence. Nothing else mattered. And then the moment was when, as Piracy gagged, choking as she accidentally swallowed her spoon. The end. Man, I forgot how crazy. Okay, these two fucking love each other, and I didn't realize that. I forgot how deeply in love these two are. My god, no wonder why I like this Twilight so much better than Herd and Instincts, man. I'm probably gonna unlist that series because fuck it, I hate it. That made me just so miserable reading that every few weeks. I decided to actually do it. But now here we are, a story that I actually care about, and I care about our boy here and whatever comes next. Anyways, guys, thank you guys for watching. This has been 20 minutes, probably because of tangents and stuff, right? Anyways, guys, thank you guys for watching, listening to, and whatever the fuck you guys do, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye. Zero sees the future.